What if I told you that the most complex shape in modern web design doesn't need an export from Figma and doesn't need a single SVG file? It's built with 3 lines of CSS sitting right there in your style sheet. No image, no plugin, just pure browser math. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how that works, starting from zero. If you've never touched a mask before in your life, that's perfect, because that's exactly where we're starting. And by the end, you'll be building shapes that cut corners, punch notches, and even animate, using nothing but native CSS. Let's get into it. So first, let's understand the actual problem, because you've almost certainly hit it before. Say you want a UI element that isn't a plain rectangle. Maybe a card with a little notch cut out of one corner, like a ticket stub. The old way, people reach for nested boxes, a div inside a div inside a div, each one clipping the next with a property called overflow hidden, which just means anything that spills past this box's edge gets chopped off. And you stack those and stack those, trying to fake a shape that was never really there. It's fragile, and the moment your layout gets fluid and that inner content resizes, the whole illusion falls apart. So the other old way, people just design the shape in Figma and export it as an SVG file, a little vector image. But now that shape is a separate asset. It bloats your page's structure, and worse, if your card needs to resize responsively, that exported shape doesn't know how to stretch with it. It just sits there, rigid. So here's the actual fix, and it's been quietly sitting in CSS for years. It's called a Boolean operation. And don't worry, that word sounds intimidating, but the idea is beautifully simple. Boolean just means combining 2 shapes with a simple yes or no rule, like keep only where they overlap, or keep everything except where they overlap. You do this constantly in real life, actually. Think of a cookie cutter pressed into dough. That's a Boolean operation, and CSS can now do exactly that, live, in the browser, with your actual layout. Okay, let's build the real mental model, because this is the heart of everything today. Picture 2 overlapping circles, a red one and a blue one, like a Venn diagram. Now, CSS gives you 4 ways to combine them. The first is called add. That's the simple one. It just means show both shapes, the total combined area, like gluing the 2 circles together. The second is subtract. This one takes the second shape and cuts it out of the first, like a cookie cutter punching a hole. The third is intersect. This keeps only the area where both circles overlap and throws away everything else. And the fourth is exclude. This is the opposite of intersect. It keeps everything except the overlap, so you're left with 2 crescent moons. Add, subtract, intersect, exclude. 4 operations, and together they can build almost any shape you can imagine, just by combining simple pieces. Now, before we touch the syntax, I need to correct something that trips up almost everyone, including plenty of experienced developers, so let's get it right from the start. You've probably heard that masks work like this. White means show it, black means hide it, like an old Photoshop layer mask. But that is not actually how CSS masking works by default. Here's the real rule. What actually matters is not the color. It's the transparency, the alpha channel. A fully solid color, whether it's white or red or bright green, shows your content. And a fully see-through version of that same color hides it. The hue simply doesn't matter, only how opaque it is. So, a gradient fading from solid red to transparent red masks exactly the same way as one fading from solid white to transparent white. That's genuinely surprising the first time you hear it, and it's the single biggest misconception about CSS masks. Okay, now, the actual syntax, and I promise it's short. You write a property called mask-image, and you give it not 1, but 2 shapes separated by a comma. Then, on the very next line, you write mask-composite, and you set it to one of our 4 words: add, subtract, intersect, or exclude. That's it. 3 lines. And the browser does all of the geometry math for you. Let's build something real with it. 1 single card. And we'll only need this one example all the way through. Say we've got a little notification card and we want that ticket stub notch, a circular bite taken clean out of the top right corner. For our first mask layer, we make a plain rectangle, the same size as the card. For our second layer, we make a circle, positioned right at that top right corner. And now the fun part. We set mask-composite to subtract. And watch, that circle punches a perfectly clean, perfectly round notch straight out of the corner. And here's what makes this so much better than an exported image. Because it's built from real CSS gradients and shapes, not a flattened picture, it is completely resolution independent. Zoom in as far as you want on the sharpest, highest density screen you own, and that curve stays razor smooth. No pixelation, ever. Now, is it actually fast? Let's prove it, not just claim it. Open your browser's developer tools and turn on the rendering panel, the one that shows paint activity. Compare our CSS mask against an old-school SVG filter effect doing something similar. You'll see our mask barely registers because it's handled by the browser's normal paint and compositing pipeline, the same efficient system that handles your everyday page rendering. Heavy SVG filter chains, on the other hand, are notorious for being expensive because they typically fall outside that fast path entirely. So this isn't just cleaner code, it's measurably lighter on the browser. Now let's push this further into genuinely advanced territory. And I want to correct one more common misunderstanding while we're here, because it'll save you real frustration. You might think, great, I'll just swap mask-composite from subtract to intersect on hover and watch it smoothly morph. But here's the honest truth. Add, subtract, intersect, exclude. Those are words, not numbers. And browsers can't smoothly blend between two words. So swapping that value on hover doesn't animate, it just snaps, instantly, from one shape to the other. If you want an actual smooth transformation, here's the real trick. Keep your composite operation fixed, and instead, animate the shapes feeding into it. You can drive your gradient size, or its position, or even a custom variable, using a newer feature called @property, which lets you register a custom variable as a real, animatable number. Now that number can transition smoothly, and as it changes, your mask geometry flows and morphs, while the underlying Boolean rule stays exactly the same. The composite logic is your fixed rule. The shapes feeding into it are what actually move. One more precision tip while we're deep in the details. Sometimes, you'll notice a tiny, almost invisible gap right at the very edge of your mask shape, where it should perfectly meet the box's border. That happens from small rounding differences between percentage-based values and your box's real pixel dimensions. The fix is to use a function called calc, which lets you do real math directly inside a CSS value, so you can line your mask's measurements up exactly with your box, instead of guessing with a rounded percentage. And here's a benefit worth calling out clearly. Even though your card now looks like a complex polygon, the text and buttons inside it are still completely real, still selectable, still readable by a screen reader, still just plain, ordinary content. You only reshaped how it's painted on screen, not what it actually is underneath. Okay, last piece, because a technique is only useful if you can actually ship it. Let's talk about real-world support. Mask-composite reached what's called baseline status back in 2023, meaning it's considered safe, stable, and ready to use everywhere. And by 2026, that safety margin has only grown. It's been reliable, unprefixed, in Safari since version 15.4, and in Chrome and Edge since version 120. So realistically, you can just use it. But if you do need to support some genuinely old browsers, here's the honest gotcha nobody mentions. There's an old, prefixed version, WebKit mask-composite, and it does not use our friendly words. It uses a completely different, older naming system with terms like source out and XOR instead of subtract and exclude. So you can't just copy your modern code and slap a prefix on it. It silently won't work. You have to write the old prefixed line with its own different keywords, sitting right alongside your modern one, so older engines quietly fall back, while modern browsers just use the good version. So here's your actual homework. Go open your own component library right now and look for every place you're using a raster image or a heavy SVG file just to fake a simple cutout or shape. There's a very good chance 3 lines of CSS can replace it today. So let's bring it all together in one breath. A mask is really just a stencil, and CSS gives you 4 Boolean ways to combine 2 of them: add, subtract, intersect, and exclude. It's not black and white that matters, it's transparency. 3 lines of syntax, mask image with 2 layers, and mask-composite replace what used to take nested divs or an entire exported asset. And it's fast, because it rides the browser's real compositing pipeline, not a heavy filter chain. So, back to that opening question. Does building a complex shape really need a trip through Figma anymore? No, you already have everything you need sitting right there in your style sheet. If this finally made CSS masking click for you, do me one small favor and subscribe. We go deep on exactly one concept every single week, and I'll see you in the next class.